Right then, Year 7, I'm going to now show you the second tutorial in working on rendering. Now, as you can see from the side over here, I've got some rendered examples. This one with a leaf green, yellow and a dark emerald green, and this one over here with a pale blue and purple. And you can see my rendering. I tend to render with these particular letters at a 45-degree angle and blend those in. I'm going to show you using your thick and thin lines like all designers would use when they're creating their ideas. And over here, I'm going to use a series today for my R of harmonious colours, colours that go together nicely. Again, refer back to your colour wheels if you're not sure. Yellow, orange and red. I'm going to blend those together for my R over here, the third letter across. So first things first, folks, I'm just going to move some of this equipment out of the way. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to begin shading. Now, I tend to work, as I said before, 45-degree angle. I'm shading in the front panel first, taking my time. Sometimes I'll press on harder just to get that lovely linear gradient effect. Sometimes I'll press on lighter to get like a fairly see-through or transparent effect. I tend to go for lightest colour first so that I avoid making mistakes, because I can always rub off or work into a lighter colour, but it's very, very hard to rub out or work into a darker colour once it's on the paper itself. Again, let's just add a little bit to the top. When you are rendering, folks, make sure that your pencil's nice and sharp. Make sure you've got everything to hand before you set up. It just makes things a lot easier. Once I've done that, I just like to quickly touch up around the edges. And again, if you do go over the sides, you can use a rubber and just to neaten up those extra bits. You might want to just blow your work once you finish with it just to get rid of the excess. If you tend to brush it on with your hands, you tend to streak the rest of your surface with unwanted colour. I'm going back in now and you can see that with this lovely orange, working back over. I'm doing this freehand, but by all means go back and use some of your rulers to get in the angle on there if you wish, but I'm quite comfortable now. When you're shading, I'm always working from the wrist, not from anywhere else, just to keep the angle nice and safe and secure, and also to keep my designs looking quite good as the rendering is going on. I tend to work from a decent view, so I'm constantly reviewing it against the other examples, just to make sure that it's lovely and consistent and in keeping with the rest of your design work. You can see the bottom on there, really, really hard in the bottom corners, just to add a little bit more of depth to the colour. Final shade, I'm going to add in my red, a little bit at the top. I'll go back in my ruler now and just add a couple of little defining strokes onto my lettering just to really bring it out, and so on and so forth. Now, because this is a 3D shape, I'm going to go for my darker shades around the side. So this side first, really pressing on here, folks, nice and neat. I will still work over a yellow into the side just to give that depth of colour, otherwise it tends to look a little bit flat when it's just one colour added. And you can see me working on there like that. So I'm going to take my orange now, just add a little bit of a blend over the top, a little bit of a blend over the top as well. And then one more in there, and a little bit of red in there just to blend that. Then to the top up here, over we go. Take it in. This one's got a bit more shade on it, so I'm going to get it a little bit lighter in this section here. Work in a little bit of orange and a smidge of yellow on this one, because I want to just say that the light's just catching the top of it from this side. Of course, inside of my letters, nice and dark inside there, and also dark inside the R as well. And then finally working in just a little bit of the orange. Now at the moment the colours are fairly defined, but I want to define them further with a little bit more of pen. So I'm going to take my thin and my thicker pen. So I've got a Sharpie here and I've got a fine writer as well. I'm going to go with the fine writer first and then Sharpie afterwards. Take a ruler, mark out your lines and carefully plot them on. Now pencil crayon has this wonderful habit of making your work slightly smudgy, so do be careful as you're working on it. You don't want to create smudged lines. I'm not going too fast, I'm letting it dry a little bit, sink into the paper before I then move the ruler along. I'm going to go there, down there and across there, down there and up there. Again, you must use a ruler. Sometimes I freehand, but please make sure you use a ruler because it'll increase your accuracy of your work. And just down there as well. I've got one more mark in there, and then the rest of these sides I'm going to do with a thicker pen to signify the outline of the shape. So once again, back in with this again, give it time just to absorb, then move your ruler, give it a little bit of time, let it absorb, and then move your ruler. You don't want to drag any black ink, especially with the Sharpie pen, because it's permanent. And again down here, just give it a bit of time. And then before I move it over, just let it dry. Down we go. And at the top, down we go. And then just in and out on this shape. Finally at the top. And then one more just for the top of there. And I'd finish the same with the same style of line in this section here. So that concludes my rendering, and I hope this does help you. Thank you.